I think we need to talk about the elephant in the room. And I just have to be straightforward with you and just give my honest opinion about Damien Priest being a world champion. And I truly believe that he is definitely the wrong guy to hold this world championship. He is definitely not ready for the spotlight. His promo skills are not there. His in-ring ability is so-so. Not that impressive among the likes of AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, other competitors, Randy Orton. I definitely would not put him up there as one of the best in the ring. But his overall gimmick, I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, is he a punk rocker? Is he, dark and mystical like emo? Is he supposed to be like The Undertaker? Is he supposed to be, I don't know, some kind of cross between The Undertaker and a punk rocker? I mean, I'm so confused. I really feel like his character has no direction and no angle. And in this video, I'm going to get into the reasons why I believe that Damien Priest is the wrong person to hold on to the world title and how there were better choices as far as WWE superstars who should have been chosen to hold that world title. Let's get into it. I'm not going to get too much into Damien Martinez, as some of you know Damien Priest's background as a professional wrestler, and start from his debut in NXT. I just want to narrow down my points as to why I believe Damien Priest is not ready to be a WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and point out those things that should make him significant to stand out as a champion and a performer. Damien Priest would debut in NXT in 2018 and go under the name by Damien Priest, and he would later win the North American Championship in 2020. Now, around this time he won the North American Championship, I was watching a bit of his development in NXT, and I was wondering to myself, why was he chosen to win that North American title? And he, in my opinion, out of all the superstars they had on the NXT roster, was definitely not the best pick to win that title. Now, there's a few superstars on that roster in 2020 who I probably would have chose to hold that title. And I thought to myself, maybe they seen something in Damien Priest that we didn't see. And those superstar qualities would eventually show, and we would begin to see exactly the potential that Triple H and Shawn Michaels seen in Damien Priest. But as I begin to watch the show more and more, I begin to see that, there was really nothing to Damien Priest other than what you see. There was nothing fantastic about his promo skills, nothing fantastic about his in-ring ability, nothing fantastic about his feuds. He came out as a big man, the arch of infamy, and pretty much just put on the show, just as basic as every other generic superstar would put on the show. And he really had nothing about him that would help me connect to his character. I mean, to me, he was just another performer on the NXT roster. And I really didn't see what was so unique about Damien Priest other than the fact that his ring attire just looked very bizarre. But then again, who am I to judge? I just really thought that, eventually we'll begin to see something different, something spectacular, something that would really just bring his mic ability or his character or his persona or the way he even appears all together so that we can really get the full package in the development of who he is. So the element of his in-ring ability, his appearance, and his whole character didn't really kind of connect in NXT and really form something, I guess, more solid as far as a concept of a character in NXT. So everything is pretty much the same until he gets called up to the main roster. In 2021, Damien Priest will move up to the main roster and he would debut on Raw. Yeah. Raw, Monday Night Raw is where Damien Priest makes his big debut, and we're going to see something different and something special. But all we got was the same Damien Priest from NXT being moved up to the main roster, being the same Damien Priest. Now, Vince McMahon will still be at the helm of creative at this time, and you would think at this moment Vince McMahon would possibly add some tweaks to his character, but no. Apparently, Vince McMahon seen no issue with his character and thought everything was fine, so he kept him as is. And Vince McMahon also decided later that year, in August 2021, to put a United States title on him. Now, with Vince McMahon, it gets a little tricky because 1 minute someone can have a middleweight title like the Intercontinental title, United States title, and you think they're getting a big push, or they could win a big match at Survivor Series or even a Royal Rumble and think that they're going to be moved up to world heavyweight status. But with Vince McMahon, you never know. And right here is where I really want to kind of hone in on, because at this point he had the United States title, and him being United States champion was really bland and very bleak. I didn't care he had the title, and a lot of fans didn't care either that he had the title, and he was actually playing a face. And it was so crazy because it was like they were really trying to give him that push, and he even got into somewhat of a small feud with the likes of Finn Balor, who would later on become his Judgment Day brother. But it was even at that juncture where they try to make him angry and mad and really try to show some dynamic to his character that really didn't pop. And again, when it comes to his persona, it comes to his in-ring ability, it comes to just the nucleus of Damien Priest, it doesn't really connect with you. And at that point, I begin to still ask myself again, who is Damien Priest? What is Damien Priest? And why is Damien Priest Damien Priest? See, it's those three questions that a performer can check all three boxes and help you connect with who they are, like AJ Styles. Who is AJ Styles? A country boy who loves wrestling and strives at being the most phenomenal in-ring performer in the wrestling business. What is AJ Styles? A high flyer who will sacrifice his body to give you the most phenomenal performance his creative mind can muster up in the ring. And why is AJ Styles who he is? Because he does everything he can in his passion and his creative mind to give you a phenomenal performance with his high-flying moves and his competitive nature. Now, I can go down a list of all the top superstars and show you the reason why they connect with the fans is because they check all three boxes. From Finn Balor, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker, John Cena. I mean, I could just keep going on and on and on and on. And that's the distinction that helps us as an audience and fans connect with the superstar. And these are elements that Damien Priest is heavily missing from his character. I thought his promo skills would improve or something about his character would pop, but over time, it just seems like it was the same guy that I seen in NXT and scratching my head and wondering, why is he getting a push? And it's apparent that another WWE superstar felt the same way. Let's take Edge. He decided it would be good for him to start his own stable and take some newcomers under his wing, or developmental talent under his wing that came up from NXT. And he wanted to go with Damien Priest as being the first to sign up to the Judgment Day. He brings Damien Priest under his wing, and that's when the development starts. And of course, Edge thought that all that talent and potential that Damien Priest had in him will soon be pushed to the forefront with him being under his wing, and eventually we'll begin to see exactly what Damien Priest can be and what they feel he should be in the forefront. And before Damien Priest's true potential can be actually materialized through Edge's mentoring, Edge will soon be swiftly kicked out of Judgment Day. As it was Vince McMahon's decision to have Edge kicked out of Judgment Day and have Finn Balor take over as somewhat the unofficial leader of the group, Edge was in call of being a babyface because Vince McMahon was in need of babyfaces on the roster at the time because all the major babyfaces he had were injured. However, it didn't stop the progress of the Judgment Day, nor did it stop the success of the Judgment Day. Since 2022, they will be the flagship stable for Monday Night Raw. And you would think out of 2 years of dominance, we would see that breakout star in Damien Priest that's on the horizon to be the next world champion with better promos, better matches, even classic matches for that matter. But yet, we still didn't see that in Damien Priest. However, we got that in Rhea Ripley, which still left me scratching my head. Why did he win Money in the Bank? And why did he cash in to win the World Heavyweights Championship? And why is he champion now? I mean, his promo skills didn't improve. His matches didn't improve. I can't think of one Damien Priest match I've seen since he's been in the Judgment Day in 2022 that I could sit back and say, you know what? That was a fantastic match. That was a 4.5-star match, a 5-star match. I mean, no match in particular. Only matches I think about are the matches he had with Finn Balor, who I think should have been a rightful person to win Money in the Bank and actually be the person holding that World Championship title. I mean, honestly, can you think of one 5-star match that Damien Priest has had since 2018 all the way up to 2024? Can you think of even one great promo that he's cut that you said, you know what, that belongs on a list of top 10 promos of this year? Can you think of one great promo, one great match? As a matter of fact, I give you a minute to think about it. Not even a minute, a few seconds. Exactly. You can't think of one. And if you bring up a match that he actually had that was really good, the best matches he had was in his tag matches with Finn Balor. I mean, and some of his great matches he had were in NXT. And even those matches were even overshadowed by some of the great performers that were on the roster at that time. Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and Finn Balor. In 2020, the same year that Finn Balor and Damien Priest were actually on the same roster, that would be one of Finn's greatest runs in NXT, where he would have some of the top matches that year. Damien Priest was probably not even mentioned in any of the top matches other than the ladder match that he was involved in where he won the North American title. And if you watch that match back, I guarantee you, he was not the highlight of that match. So again, I say to myself, why him? He has no entertaining factor. He's not that great in the ring. He's terrible on promos. I mean, his promos are dry and bland. The best promo he had was against Drew McIntyre as of recently on Monday Night Raw. I mean, come on, like, what is it in Damien Priest that's making the machine push him so hard? Not really want to say machine, but why is Triple H investing in him so much? And then it dawned on me, the only reason why he's being built up or even has the World Heavyweight Championship is because he's going to be fed to Gunther. I mean, look at it. The guy doesn't really have the star qualities to even hold on to the World Heavyweight Championship. When you think about a person who's being used to push a World Heavyweight Championship, it's because they look at this guy as having some long-term running status. This guy has the charisma, the personality, and in-ring ability to keep the interest of the fans of watching a World Heavyweight Championship match, like Seth Rollins, like Cody Rhodes, like Roman Reigns, which is the reason why I believe that Gunther is going to beat him at SummerSlam. Gunther recently winning the King of the Ring tournament and invoking his clause of having a World Heavyweight Championship match against Damien Priest on Monday Night Raw, letting him know that he is going to be the challenger for his World Heavyweight Championship. And like I was saying earlier, the kind of people that they would want to put a world title on are people who have that ability to keep you interested in a person who is a world champion, who has that charisma to give you that longevity interest. And Gunther definitely proved that with the Intercontinental title. And what I definitely understand about the significant moment about Damien Priest being a World Heavyweight Champion is the fact that this gives him an opportunity that he probably would have never gotten in the future or maybe prior to Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank offered him the opportunity to be a world champion. Seeing as though he lacks all those key characteristics, it allows him to be a world champion without having to have him go through the grind that most true world champions will go through in order to get that world championship win. So he gets it with the Money in the Bank briefcase, that build or that potential or that what if Damien Priest was a world champion kind of idea is already, sold or seen. And we see it with the Money in the Bank cash-in now that he's a world heavyweight champion, but he doesn't have to go through the grind of working through the hard work of being built up to be a world champion. Because in hindsight, honestly, like looking at all the other people on the roster, all other guys who have better qualifications than he does, he probably wouldn't even make the mark. And this is definitely true because now he's in this moment where he has a World Heavyweight Championship and he had the briefcase for almost a year. He finally cashes it in. But in between that time, building up to the moment to where he cashed in, he had so much significant time to work on his character with the Judgment Day, with them being the most overhill faction on Monday Night Raw. And they had so much screen time, so many matches and so many opportunities to where he could have developed his character to be a little bit more stronger or to even show that he was that breakout star. But we did not see that potential at all. So his cash-in didn't necessarily feel like, or doesn't necessarily feel like it's null and void. However, he can in this particular moment serve as a great transitional champion to one who should be the rightful owner. However, I still have a rebuttal to that. And that rebuttal was Jey Uso. I feel like Jey Uso was a great breakout star out of the bloodline. And this would have been a pivotal moment to show how he can shine on his own being a world champion. Now, some of you may feel like it would have been too soon. But when you look at it from where we are right now, from where he was with the bloodline, he has grown significantly and very popular with the crowd. He's so over. I mean, there's only 3 major baby faces we have on the roster right now, and that is Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, and Jey Uso. I mean, you can also say Kevin Owens is over as well, but as far as popularity and as far as red hot right now, Jey Uso, he's definitely red hot. And he would have served a great purpose as being that person to have won that Money in the Bank briefcase and go on to cash in at WrestleMania. However, they had other plans. But my number one pick is Finn Balor. I felt like he deserved it more than Damien Priest. Reason being is because he was injured in that match at SummerSlam against Seth Rollins for the Universal title, where he won but never got his rightful place as in having a decent reign or even a reign at all with the Universal title. Only had it for one day when he won it and had to relinquish it the next day on Monday Night Raw. I think it would have given him a moment of redemption on the main roster as a World Heavyweight Champion, and especially him being backed by the Judgment Day would have served a lot better. And besides, he has way more charisma, way better in the ring as far as in-ring ability. And if they wanted to branch him off on his own, he can branch off on his own, be a world champion, and tap back into that demon persona, which everybody loves. So in my opinion, I feel like the title should have either went to Jey Uso or the title should have went to Finn Balor. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think Damien Priest is a good world champion? Do you think he's going to grow into it? Or do you think he's only going to be serving as a transitional champion? Or do you think someone else should have won it besides Finn Balor or Jey Uso? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.